Hello and welcome to Book Buzz. I'm Monique, a reference librarian at Sewickley Public Library. It's January, the time of year when I like to curl up by the fireplace with a good mystery. Today I want to share with you a trio of mysteries that I read in the past year and found to be particularly memorable. Whether you like historical mysteries with a pinch of paranormal, or if you prefer a touch of fantasy, or even just a gritty thriller, listen on. The first book is Lost Among the Living by Simone St. James. Published in 2016, it's set in Britain between the two world wars. Jo Manders is a young widow who lost her husband in the First World War. She's taken a job as an assistant for her husband's Aunt Dottie, and they have just returned from a trip on the continent to the family estate Wych Elm House. Dottie's family has been fractured by the loss of her troubled daughter a few years before, but she is preparing to welcome her son home after a long convalescence from his injuries during the war. Wych Elm House is not a happy home. Rumors swirl around the nearby village regarding apparitions in the woods surrounding the house, and Jo begins to see and experience strange phenomena. She remembers her husband mentioning the death of poor Frances who fell from the roof of the house. Or did she jump? Or was she pushed? Is Frances trying to communicate with her? And how do her memories of her husband mesh with what she is learning as she is drawn into investigating Frances's death? Lost Among the Living is an atmospheric, almost gothic paranormal thriller. In some ways it reminded me of Jane Eyre with its gloomy and bleak landscape. And like Jane, Jo is alone for all intents and purposes. She is quietly passionate and determined, making her way in an often unfriendly world, much like the heroines of my next two books. In Leigh Bardugo's 2019 fantasy Ninth House, Alex Stern is given the opportunity to trade the seedy, drug-fueled underworld of LA for the rarefied air of Yale. The catch? Her work-study program involves working for the Leth, or the mysterious ninth house that monitors the goings-on of the other 8 secret societies. And why would the Leth recruit her? Well, it turns out they can use someone with her skill set, the foremost of which is the same ability that previously caused her to try to numb herself with drugs. She sees dead people. Although she's not sure she can measure up to the privileged and elite students that surround her, Alex is determined to make the most of her opportunity. But the murder of a local girl, which may be related to the arcane pursuits of the societies, and the disappearance of her mentor, Darlington, draw her into a web of intrigue and magic that may be her undoing. Bardugo, who is best known for her young adult fantasy novels, has developed a sort of grown-up version of Harry Potter that combines the real world with the fantastic, making it accessible for readers who aren't usually into fantasy. It has enough twists and turns to keep the most accomplished mystery readers guessing, and although the book is clearly setting up for a sequel, it has a satisfying resolution. My final selection, Dark August by Katie Tallow, begins in a similar vein. A young woman adrift in an unfriendly world. Augusta, or Gus, Monet, is eking out an existence with her low-life boyfriend when she's notified that her estranged great-grandmother has died and left her house. When she returns, it brings up memories of her mother, a police officer who died in a car accident while investigating a prominent family in a small town that has since been abandoned due to a natural gas catastrophe. While going through the house, Gus finds evidence that her mother left behind, and she can't resist following her mother's clues, trying to piece together her final case. But a person or persons unknown want the long-dead secrets to remain buried. Although Dark August lacks the paranormal and fantasy elements of the previous selections, it has the similar theme of an intelligent, resourceful heroine who is trying to uncover the truth, battling forces who would disempower and deceive her at every turn. Lost Among the Living, Ninth House, and Dark August are all available through Sewickley Library as ebooks from Overdrive or the Libby app, or you can request a print copy if you prefer. Until next time, happy reading, everyone.